Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Today we have solved just achievement test 79 now, and this is the physics analysis I'm doing. So in this paper what I find, 3 questions were actually very challenging, and 23rd the answer I'm getting is differing by a factor of 2. I might be wrong here also, but what I feel is not right. And in these 3 questions I'm pretty sure they have done mistakes and my answer is correct. They have given the wrong answer, they have solved it incorrectly. And here we have almost 10 questions is easy, 3 tough, and the remaining 12 was medium. So paper is quite testing one because of the mistakes. I had to recheck. Otherwise it's you can say a slightly higher than the medium difficulty. So anyone getting 50-55 plus is doing a decent job, and those looking for advanced, I think they should get 75-80 plus in this particular paper. If the series limit wavelength of the Lyman series of hydrogen atom is 912 angstrom, then the series limit wavelength of the Balmer series is. So we know the series limit for Lyman has an energy of 13.6 eV 1 to infinity, while for the Balmer is 3.4 eV, or you can say it's 1/4. So energy becomes 1/4, so the lambda will become 4 times. So 4 times 912 would be 3648 angstrom. You can directly go for it. Next, two solid hemispheres of radii r and r by 2 with centers O and O dash, okay, are as shown. The density of the bigger is rho and that of the smaller one is 2 rho. Taking center of bigger hemisphere is at origin and at the distance between the center of the two is r by 10, then find the coordinates of the CM. Okay, so you have two solid hemispheres. So again what you require here, the location of the exact center of mass of that solid hemisphere that we say is at 3r by 8 height. So for the bigger one we will say it is at the height 3r by 8 here. So this coordinate is 0, 3r by 8. Now next what we have, this one. So for this coordinate, the x coordinate we know is a negative, this would be minus r by 10 for sure, and the y coordinate is 3r by 8 will become here 3r by 16. Also if I talk about the mass, this mass would be, it has a density rho into 4 by 3 pi, half of that the r cube by 3, r cube by 2 sorry, and this one would be rho into 2 rho sorry into 4 by 3 pi r by 2 whole cube by 2. So this vector is 1 by 8, but this is double. So what we can make it out, if this one is let's say m, this would be 4 times m. You can directly say if this mass is m, this would be 4 times m. Normally it would have been 8 times, but its density is double, so it is 4 times. Now replace them by their CM's point masses. So first one is 4m mass at 0, 3r by 8, and this one is m mass at minus r by 10 minus 3r by 16. Now calculate the CM. So what would be the XCM? That is first m into minus r by 10 plus 4m into 0 upon 5m. So it comes out as minus r by 50. So this is minus r by 50. Oh, there are many options, 2 options. Okay. Next, the y coordinate. The y coordinate, let me look at the options first. Okay, options are like that, solve. Now, so m into minus 3r by 16 plus 4m into 3r by 8 divided by 5m. So what it is, I'll take the LCM, 16, 580 will come, and this would be what we have, this would be minus 3 and this will become 4, 3, 12 and 2, that is 24. So it comes out as 21r by 80. So YCM is 21r by 80. So what we are left with, this is option A is the first option, that is the correct one that I am getting here. So a nice question. Next, two spherical conductors 4 and 5 meter charged to same potential, if these be the respective surface charge density, then now the same potential, what we know, potential at surface, if you remember kq by r, that can be written as sigma r by epsilon naught. So what you have, sigma 1 into 4 would be equal to sigma 2 into 5 for sure. So sigma 1 by sigma 2 would be 5 by 4. So that is option C here. Next, the rocket is fired upwards, engine explodes fully in 12 seconds. Okay, the height reached by the rocket as calculated from its VT graph is, so VT graph you can say, just remember this is not the highest point will be this, because velocity here is decreasing but is still positive. So just calculate the area, VT area will give you the height, that area is half into this is 132 into 200. So this is what we have, 66 into 2, that is again 132, 133,200 meter, 13.2 kilometers you can go, or what we have, this is coming out as 132, it is 1366 twos are, yes, 13200 meters I'm getting. So there is no option. If I look at the options, it appears that this was 1200 they interpreted. If it was 1200, it would be, let's say, 6 times of that, and then it would have been 79200. But right now I'll say this would be bonus because we cannot make out for 200. This is coming out like this. Next, a solid sphere of uniform density radius r applies a gravitational force of attraction F1 on a particle placed at P. Okay, distance 2r from the O. A spherical cavity is now made in the sphere as shown. The sphere with cavity now applied a force F2 on the same particle placed at P. The ratio F2 by F1 will be. So first of all, the F1 is due to the complete sphere. Let's call it gm upon 4r square. This was the force. Now because of the cavity, I can say the cavity mass would be m by 8, and because of the cavity one only, the force exerted would be gm, what we can say, gmm. You can write m is the mass of the complete sphere. Now its mass is m by 8 into m. Again, it's an outside point, so it would be r plus r by 2, that is 3r by 2 whole square. That comes out as 4gm by 8 into m upon 9r square. That you can write it as what it comes out as. This is, let's say I can write it as 4 by 18 into gm by 4r square, like this. So this is what 4f by 18, or you can say 2f by 9. So out of that f1 out of that f1, 2 by 9 fraction was because of this. So because of the second one, it would be 7 by 9 fraction. So I'll go for option B here. Next, we have a body at 27 degrees emits energy at this rate when it is at 627. So this temperature is 300 Kelvin, this temperature is 900 Kelvin. That means temperature is tripled. That H is proportional to T to the power 4. That is 3 to the power 4. That would be 81 times. So that would be 81 into 0.3. That is 24.3. I can go for 24.3. What is going to be the answer? Just you remember the proportionality. Next one, you have a mole of a certain ideal gas. It obtains an amount of heat 1.6 when its temperature is increased. Okay, keeping pressure constant, the value of Cp by Cv is, so at constant pressure Q is in Cp delta T. So what is Cp from here? Qp is 1.60 into 10 to the power 3. Moles is 1, delta T is 72, that is 1600 by 72. This is Cp, this is Cp, and Cp you write is equal to gamma r upon gamma minus 1, and you are checking for the value of gamma itself. So what would be the value of the gamma? So gamma upon gamma minus 1 is 1600 upon 72 into, I can write it as 25 by 3. This comes out as 24, 25. This would be 6, 150 and 164. 64 by 24, what we have is 16 by 6. So or you can write it as 8 by 3. So what we have, 3 gamma is equal to 8 gamma minus 8. So what we have, 5 gamma is equal to 8. So gamma is 8 by 5, that is 1.6. So go for option A. You know Cp by Cv is gamma, that is 1.6. Next, rectangular loop, metallic wire, length A, breadth B, carries current I. Magnetic field, the center of the loop will be, okay, let it be like this. This is A, this is B, carries a current I like this. So we know all fields will add up, and if I do, let's say first of all due to this one, due to this first section, second section, third and fourth. So 1 and 3 has same field, 2 and 4 have same field. So first due to first one. So what I will write, let's say this angle is theta. So what would be this theta? This is A by 2, this is B by 2. So tan theta is equal to A by B. So what we need cos theta. Tan theta is A by B. So cos theta would be B upon under root of A square plus B square. So B due to the first wire would be mu naught I upon distance. Distance is 4 pi r, that is 4 pi A by 2 into what we have, cos alpha plus cos beta, that is 2 times B upon root of A square plus B square. So what it becomes, this 4 goes mu naught I B upon pi under root of A square plus B square. This is due to B1. Similarly B2, if you go there, then tan theta will become B by A and that will become A by this. So this will become mu naught I A upon pi under root A square plus B square. So net field would be addition and doubling of that. So if I double it, net field would be 2B1 plus 2B2. So what I can write, 2 mu naught upon 4 pi upon pi, sorry, not where is 4 pi, 2 mu naught upon mu naught I upon pi. I can take common, under root A square plus B square I can take common, it would be A plus B. So going by these options, what we are left with now, okay, there's one more thing that I have missed. this is A and this would be B, so it won't be that easy. That is my mistake. I just realized by seeing the option I missed that A, so be careful. So the result is same. B net is 2B1 plus 2B2. That I was wrong. I was right. That no. So what I can say, 2 mu naught I upon pi under root A square plus B square is common. It would be B by A plus it would be A by B. So what we will have, this would be B square plus A square, so that would be 2 mu naught I, it becomes under root A square plus B square upon pi times AB. So now what we are left with, is I think this option is I am seeing this is the right one, so this is option A that I will be going. So it's a nice question, be careful, don't, I was lucky that option was not there, the mistake I was doing. Now consider a collection of large number of particles, each at speed v, direction of velocity is random, find the magnitude of relative velocity between a pair of particles averaged over all pairs, that is you have to find out. So collection of large number of particles, each with speed v, direction of velocity is randomly distributed between a pair of particles averaged over all pairs in the collection. Okay, so what we can have here, let's say all are moving with same speed. Let's say we have two particles, this is going like this v, this is going like this v, and let's say their angle is theta. So what we say is the relative velocity v of 1 with respect to b, or va vb, we can write va minus vb, where we do, you remember two equal vectors, it would be 2v sine of theta by 2. If you add, it would be 2v cos of theta by 2. So this is 2v sine theta by 2, and now you have to average it over. So if you average it over, so what you do, the average of this sine of theta by 2 over that complete 0 to 2 pi possibility, 0 to pi possibility, if you do that the magnitude of relative velocity. So we have to average this whole thing over. So what we will have, this average of sine theta by 2, I can write this as sine theta by 2 average. You can directly say that can be written as sine of theta by 2 d theta from 0 to pi divided by pi. So sine of theta by 2, if you integrate, you know sine of theta, you write it as its integration is minus cos of theta by 2, and it would be 2 times because of that factor upon pi from 0 to pi. So that would be minus 2 by pi, that would be cos of pi by 2 minus cos of 0, so that comes out as 2 by pi. So what we will have, that average value we will now get is 2v into 2 by pi, that is 4v by pi. Go for option C. It's a nice question. If it would have been simple, the relative velocity average, that would have been 0, but you have to calculate the magnitude of the relative velocity, so be careful. Next, you have a ball of 0.2 kg thrown vertically upwards by applying a force by hand. Hand goes 0.2 meter while applying the force, ball goes 2 meter height further, find the magnitude of the force. This is a question asked in JEE Main, I think 10-12 years back. See this. This was the ball in hand at rest. The hand goes still 0.2 meters. It applies a force F, let's say average, and then it goes up 2 meters. So let it be A, let it be B, let it be C. At C velocity is 0, at A velocity is 0. So for ball between A and C, I apply W gravity plus W of hand would be equal to delta K, work energy theorem. So W of gravity would be, I can write minus mg into 2.2 because complete height, plus force from hand would be F into 0.2, that is delta K, that is 0. So F would be equal to mg into 2.2 upon 0.2. You can directly go for, this is 11 mg. 11 mg means 11 into 0.2 into 10, that is 11 2s are 22 Newton. So the force from the hand would be 22 Newtons in this particular case. This is option D. Next, you have a 32 phosphorus radionuclide with this half-life produced in a reactor at this constant rate. How soon after the beginning will its activity be equal to this? So the activity dN by dt, you will say, would be equals to activity, activity will be the rate of disintegration, that is lambda times n, you know, and n, for n we can write here the rate of increase dN by dt would be equal to this constant rate q minus lambda n. Okay, so this is what we have. So what we need this lambda n to be equal to 1 into 10 to the power 9, that is what we require. So first of all, if I do this integration dN upon q minus lambda n dt from 0 to t, it is 0 to n. So what it comes out, it is ln of what I said, q minus lambda n upon q, and what we will have minus 1 by lambda here, that is equal to t. So 1 minus lambda n by q is equal to e to the power minus lambda t. So the value of n comes out as q by lambda into 1 minus e to the power minus lambda t. So lambda into n would be activity at moment is q, 1 minus e to the power minus lambda t that should be 1.0 into 10 to the power 9 plus 9, sorry, not minus 9. So now solve it. What is q? 2.7 into 10 to the power 9 into 1 minus e to the power minus lambda t is 10 to the power 9. So e to the power minus lambda t 1 minus this is 1 upon 2.7 that I am getting. So what we can write it, e to the power minus lambda t, this you already know, you can be written as 2 upon t to the power t by half. You have done it many times, that is 1 upon 2.7. So what we are left with, this is 1.7 upon 2.7 would be equal to 1 upon 2 t to the power t by t half. So 2 to the power t by t half comes out as 27 by 17, that you can write as 1.17. You are left with 100, so it is 1.5. now you have 1.5 and this is 185, 150 is approximately 1.58 thing you will get. So it's 1.58. So 2 to the power something is 1.58, so definitely it is greater than half. So t will be definitely what we can say, it is greater than half. So t would be greater than t half by 2, so it would be greater than 7.15 days for sure, that is for sure. Now you have to solve it. I don't know how to solve it without calculator, it's not that easy. They have given question because they have to give question. Now what you will do, it's really tough. 1.58, I don't know what is the value of the ln itself, so it's really a tough task for me. So if you solve it, I'm going by the answer they have given, it would be 9.5 days. Otherwise I don't know how we will move from here. It's not going to be an easy thing to do. Next, a simple pendulum is taken to 64 km above the earth's surface. When you go 64 km, it's not very high, g will become g naught 1 minus 2h by r. So the drop, the delta g would be, you can say delta g by g would be minus 2h by r. You can say that would be equal to minus 2 into 64 upon 6400. So if I do it in percent, it is minus 2%. So g decreases by 2%. So g will decrease by 2%. So time period, it is 1 by root g. So if it decreases by 2%, we'll say time period will increase by 1% for here. So we'll go for option A in this particular case. So it would be option A in this particular case. Now, when a piece of metal is illuminated by monolight of lambda, then stopping potential is 3V. When by 2 lambda, it is V as the value of threshold is. So what you will do, hc by lambda minus phi, or threshold wavelength you are needed, so hc by lambda naught is equal to 3 EVS. Similarly, hc by 2 lambda minus hc by lambda naught is equal to EVS. Now what you require, the value of the threshold wavelength you require, so just equate this, this is divided. So this EVS goes, so hc by lambda minus hc by lambda naught is equal to 3 times hc by 2 lambda minus hc by lambda naught. So get that's hc goes. So 1 by lambda minus 1 by lambda naught is 3 by 2 lambda minus 3 by lambda naught. So take it here, 2 by lambda naught would be equal to 1 upon 2 lambda. So lambda naught comes out as 4 lambda here. So go for option A here. Next, a large tank filled with water to a height h is to be emptied through a small hole. The ratio of the time taken to fall from h to h by 2 and h by 2 to 0. Now this is an important question. You just remember the relationship. The time taken you say depends on what we say, it is proportional to root h, how much that time it will take to be emptied. So first of all, let me take from h to 0. From h to 0, that is time required would be, let's say this time is t1, this is t2. So t1 plus t2 I can say would be proportional to root h, and this time from h by 2 to 0, that is t2 would be proportional to root of h by 2. So what I can say, t1 plus t2 upon t2, that would be equals to 1 upon 1 by root 2, that is root 2. So what is you were requiring t1 by t2, so t1 plus t2 is root 2 t2. So t1 by t2 comes out as root 2 minus 1. In this particular case, I'll go for root 2 minus 1. Just remember this, h is the amount of this h to 0, you should always go from h to 0. This result is valid from that. So this proportionality is very useful in these questions. Next, a symmetric double convex lens is cut into equal parts by a plane perpendicular to the principal axis. Okay, so that will become 2f. You know, if the power of the original is 4d, the power of the cut lens, because focal length has doubled, power will be half, that is 2d. You remember this. Whenever you cut this lens like this, if this has focal length f, you say this has a focal length 2f. So that is what the standard result. So it's an easy one if you remember those things. Uniform solid sphere M R lying on a rough horizontal surface, constant force 4 mg acts vertically down such that it makes an angle 60 degree with horizontal as shown. The minimum value of coefficient of friction so that the sphere performs pure rolling. Okay, so what we have here, so for it to perform pure rolling, it need to be performed pure rolling. So if it is pure rolling, I can apply this about this point of contact, let's say P. So if I take about P, the torque would be only of this F, that would be equal to F into, I can say this distance is r cos 60, that would be equal to IP into alpha. So F is 4 mg, r cos 60 is r by 2, IP, because it is a sphere, about P would be 7 by 5 mr square into alpha. So alpha for you comes out as what, 10 g by 7r. Alpha is 10 g by 7r. Now so that means, and the sense of would be like the torque would be r cross F would be like this, so it will go like this. So because it will rotate like this, so you need you need to get the acceleration in the forward direction. So definitely the friction will act in the forward direction for sure, and the friction would be equals to, that should be static friction, that should be equal to ma. Ma means m into a is alpha r, that is 10 g by 7, that is 10 mg by 7, and that should be less than equal to mu sn. And what would be n? N here would be 4 mg plus mg, that would be 5 mg for vertical balance. So 10 mg by 7 should be less than equal to mu s into 5 mg. So this mg goes, so mu s should be greater than equal to 10 by 35, what I am getting, or you can call it as 2 by 7. So we'll go for option C. That's a nicely designed question testing the rolling concept. Next, a silicon specimen is made into p-type by doping this 1 indium atom per 5 into 10 to the power 7 silicon atom. If the number density is this, so you can directly say that number of holes approximately would be, what we can say, 5 into 10 to the power 7, and this is 5 into 10 to the power 28 per atom. So that would be equals to 5 into 10 to the power 28 divided by 5 into 10 to the power 7 per meter cube. That is what we get, 10 to the power 21 per meter cube. That is the doping density. So what we have, the number of acceptor atoms in silicon per cubic centimeter will be, so you can directly add 10 to the power 21. You will go for acceptor 1 minute. Number density of atoms is this per cubic centimeter. Okay, so per cubic centimeter you will have 10 to the power 6 factor less, so that would be 10 to the power 15 per centimeter cube. So we'll go for option D. So it's a simple one, just checking your basics, nothing physics in it. Next, lead bullet 10 gram 300 meter per second strikes against a block of wood to come to rest. Assuming 50% heat is absorbed by the bullet, so 50% means half mv square is half, that would be equal to ms delta t. So this m and m goes, it is by the bullet only, so delta t would be v square by 4s specific heat. V square is 300 into 300, 4 into 150, that is what we have. So what we will get now, so what we will be getting in this case, this is 2, this is 2, this is 150. So temperature will change by 150 degrees Celsius. So quite a lot of change in the temperature we will be expecting here. Next, surface tension Mi, Planck's constant, were to be taken as fundamental units. Okay, the dimensional formula unit for linear momentum would be, okay, so we don't know direct relation, we have to go by the basics. Linear momentum P is mv, mv means mlt minus 1, and surface tension is force per unit length, that is mt minus 2. Mi is what you can say mr square, that is ml2, and you have Planck's constant h, that is energy per frequency, that is ml2. Energy is ml2, frequency is t minus 1, so ml2 t minus 1, I can write this, h would be ml2 t minus 1, that is what we can write. So to get it, now you'd need m to the power 1, you need m to the power 1, so let's try it half and half. Yes, that will give half and half, and 0 will give me m as 1. For L, it is half and it is 0, so again it is 1, it is coming, and t minus 1, so it is half, this will be minus 1, and this is 0, so it is coming perfectly. So it's our luck that first option is coming correct. Otherwise the way you know is p proportional to s to the power a, I to the power b, h to the power c, and do that thing. but I just observed and by luck it was the first option only. Next. Two identical piano wires have a fundamental frequency of 600 cycle per second when kept under the same tension. What fractional increase will lead to occurrence of 6 beats? So what we can say, F is proportional to V is proportional to root T. So for small changes, delta F by F is half delta T by T. So 6 by 600 would be equals to half delta T by T. So delta T by T comes out as 1 upon 200 here. So 1 upon 200 you can write here, the change would be 1 upon 200, oh sorry, 2 upon 100. It's my mistake, it's 2 upon 100, that is 0.02. So it would be 0.02, go for option B. Next. So these are the straight objectives. Now the numerical one. Stone of 1 kg, string 10 by 3 meters, circular path of radius L in vertical plane, ratio of max to min tension is 2. What is the speed at the highest point? So what you will say, it is in the vertical loop, okay, and its speed at the highest point. So first at the lowest point, let's assume this is V bottom and let's say this is V top. So at the lowest point, what I can write, T is more, so this is T higher or T1 minus mg would be equal to mvb square by L. And at the highest point, you know, tension and mg both acts down, so it would be less. Minimum T2 plus mg is mvt square. Vt square would be vb square minus 2gh, which would be 4gl upon L. So what we have, T1 is twice of T2, so just equate. So mg plus mv bottom square by L, or better, right, okay, we have solved for v bottom, let me do, better would be to go for v highest point. That would be 2 times mvb square by L minus 4mg minus mg, that we can write. So what we have now, this is 2 mvb square by L, this would be minus 10 mg, this is mg plus mvb square by L. So what you have, mvb square by L, if you simplify, is 11 mg. So v at bottom is root of 11 gl, so v at the top would be 11 gl minus 4 gl under root, that is root of 7 gl. So root of 7 into 10 into L is 10 by 3 that you are getting. So this is what, so it comes out as 10 into root of 7 by 3. So it's a tough one, so we'll go for just simplifying that. But what we are seeing is answer is 10, and if I see their explanation, they have assumed the speed to be same. I don't know why they have taken it to be same. If it is same, then what is the use of moving it in the vertical plane? So the solution given is wrong. It would be 10 root 7 by 3. Solve for it, whatever be the value it comes. Okay, so this question not solved correctly, and let me do it for you. What would be the answer? So if I do this 7 by 3, I get it, and if I take this root, so I'm using the calculator, I'm not doing myself, I'm telling you, this is root of 7 by 3 is 2 point, what I can write, you can say root of 2.7 by 3 is, you have 2.33, I suppose, yes, 2.33, so it is 1.52, it would be 15.26. if I do in the significant figures, it is 15.26 here. So that is the speed at the highest point, and they have done it wrong in this particular thing. Okay, next. 4 resistances are connected by an ideal battery of EMF 15. The circuit is in a steady state, then the current in wire AB is, okay, what would be the current in wire AB? Because this is not a balanced Wheatstone bridge, it would be very, very tough for us to solve. It's not going to be easy for us to solve. So what you will do here, it's not going to be that much easy here. So let me try it. Let's say this current is I1, this current is I2, and there is no symmetry. I am finding it out. So it's really going to be very, very tough, I suppose. Okay, not that tough. Okay, it's not Wheatstone. There is no fifth resistor. I was just getting confused. So A and B are same. So let's say this is A, this is A, this one is, let's say, P, and this one is Q. So these two are in parallel, these two are in parallel, so nothing. 3 and 1, this is 3 by 4, this is 2 and 4, this is 8 by 6, that is 4 by 3. Okay, now, so the R equivalent is 3 by 4 plus 4 by 3. So what it comes out as, it is 12, it is 9 plus 16, 25 by 12. So it is 25 by 12. So the current from the battery would be 50 upon 25 into 12, so that is 24 ampere. Now out of 24, here we will have 2/3. 2/3 means 16 amperes. Here we will, not 2/3, sorry, it is 1:3 is the ratio. So it would be 1/4, 3/4. 3/4 current means 3 by 4 into 24, so 3 by 4 into 24 would be 18 amperes, and it would be 6 amperes. Here it would be, let's say, half, so it would be 2/3 means it would be 16 ampere, so it is 18 and 16, that means 2 ampere will go from A to B, so the answer is going to be 2 ampere here. Next, a non-conducting ring radius r having uniformly distributed charge q starts rotating about axis xx dash, okay, passing through diameter with angular acceleration alpha as shown. Another small conducting ring having radius a much less than r kept fixed at the center of the bigger loop such that xx dash is perpendicular to its plane. If the resistance of the smaller one is 1 ohm, find the induced current in it in ampere. Okay, find that. Now this is a tough one because it is rotating like about xx dash. It's not going to be that easy. What we have to do, well, let's say go by an angle theta and take a small strip d theta. For this the charge is dq, and if we take this dq is rotating in this circle, okay, and the radius of this circle is small r, you can say would be equals to r cos theta, and this distance would be equal to r sin theta. Radius would be r sin theta, and this distance is going to be r cos of theta. I can make it out. Okay, so first of all, what is the charge on this? This dq would be q by total charge, which was on 2 pi r, and if I take this dq on both sides, because I can take this as a complete ring like this, so this would be dq would be you can say 2 times q times 2 pi r into d theta, what I can write. So that would be, that basically comes out as q by pi d theta. That is the charge on this ring. This is the charge that I'll see on this particular ring I'll go for. And what would be, I can say it would be like q by pi d theta. I am having this dq. Now after this dq, the current that it will generate is dq into f, which is omega by 2 pi, that is q upon pi d theta into alpha t upon 2 pi. This is di, and the field that it will generate is what we have the formula mu naught I is what, q upon pi theta alpha t upon 2 pi mu naught I into what we generally write r square. R square is r sin theta whole square upon 2r cube. So r, that smaller, that r will be small r square plus r cos square theta, that is simply radius r, that is 2r cube. This is the field generated. So this is the field generated that would be due to this element. How much is this? Mu naught q d theta it was, sorry, upon what we have, this is 2 pi square, this is 2r cube, that is alpha t, that is r square, and it would be sine square theta d theta, and I will integrate for the complete field, and the theta will vary from this to this, so it will be from 0 to pi I'll need to go for. So I'll need to go for 0 to pi. For this particular case I'll go for 0 to pi. So what will I be left here if I solve it? It is mu naught q alpha t, and this will be r cancel, it would be what I can say, this was 2 times r cube, so it was 4 pi square r cube, that is what I'm getting it here. Okay, and sine square theta d theta from 0 to pi. If you do this integration sine square theta, you remember this particular integration, this will come out as pi by 2. This will come out as pi by 2. So it comes out what is mu naught q alpha t upon 8 pi r cube. This is the field that I am getting at this point. Now, so now what you are left in this particular case with, you would be left with what I can say now B. So what is the flux through that? That is B into A. Area is pi A square, because we are taking the field at the center. That would be mu naught q alpha t A square, pi will cancel, 8r cube. And now if I do that EMF is minus d phi by dt. So the magnitude would be mu naught q alpha A square by 8r cube, and the resistance is 1, so that would be the value of the current numerically. So the value is mu naught upon 8, that is mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. Okay, so this was pi what got cancelled in our calculations. This is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. Q was what was q? Q is okay, q is given in q mu naught terms, so do it like this. So this is mu naught, this is 16 into 10 to the power minus 2 upon mu naught into alpha is 8, sorry, and a square would be 10 to the power minus 2 upon 8, and r cube is what we have 1, so 8 and 8 goes, so this basically comes out as 16. So our answer would be 16 ampere. In this case they have given answer as 8 ampere, but I think it should be 16. They have taken only q, while I'm taking it as 2q in this particular case. So for me it would be like this. That is I suppose. So let me try it. Yes, it assumes to be like this, otherwise you will go from 0 to 2 pi, that will become again the same factor will come for me. So this is what we will get. This is 16 as per me. I might be wrong, but I am going for 16 here. Next, in YDAC arrangement as shown in the figure, fringes are seen on screen using monochromatic source S having wavelength 3000 in air. S1 and S2 are two slits separated by 1 mm and 1 meter. Left of slits S1 S2 medium as n1 equal to 2, and the right the medium of n2 equal to 3 by 2 is present. A thin slab of thickness t is placed in front of S1. The refractive index varies with distance from its starting phase as shown. Oh my god, okay. In order to get central maxima at the center of the screen, the thickness of the slab in millimeter will be. So what it would be, you need to find it out. So this is not going to be that easier thing to solve, but let me try it. Now you need central maxima here. So here, coming from here to here, what we have, this part difference, if I'll calculate, this one is what you call as small d, and this one was capital D. So this distance is basically, I can write this would be n1 into capital D. I can almost write it as n1 into capital D only. That would be the difference. I can, okay, difference I need to find out. So difference would be, it is in midway or what? Yes, I am assuming it would be a midway. So going by that, the d sine theta logic. So this part difference is d sine theta would be what I can say, d by 2 by d. So this would be d square by 2d. That is the difference that we will get, d square by 2d, that we will get here. So the part difference would be n1 into d square by 2d, and this one has traveled more, and now it has to travel more like this. So it has to travel more, so I will only take that difference. That would be what I can write, n3 by n2 minus 1. I should write n3 by n2 minus 1, or write it completely. What we will say, this will travel the distance, whatever be the distance, it would be n2 plus n3. It would be additional distance that it will be traveling is n3 minus n2 into t. That is the additional part difference, and that should be equal, that then it can come to that one. So n3 minus n2 into t, that we will get. But now the problem with n3 is not uniform, but because it is varying linearly, I can take it the average value. The average value will, I think, will suffice for us. So 2 into d square is 1 mm 10 to the power minus 6. 2 into 1, that would be n3 minus n2. So n3 average is 2 minus 1.5 into t. So t comes out as 10 to the power minus 6 upon 0.5. So for me, this comes out as, if you have to take the answer, it would be 2. Yes, it is coming out 2 into 10 to the power minus 6 meters. So because it is linear, I can go for that average value in this particular case. Next. So that was again not an easy one. Disk of 0.1 meter rolls without sliding on a horizontal surface with a velocity of 6. It then ascends a smooth continuous track as shown in the figure, the height up to which it goes. Because it is smooth track, omega won't change, only half mv square will give up, and that would be equal to mgh. So h is simply v square by 2g, nothing else. So it is 36 by 2 into 10, that is 36 by 20, that is 1.8 meters. So answer would be 1.8, and this is your exercise. You can try. If it would have rolled up continuously, then what would have happened? So here the solution, again they have done it wrong, because they have given it a smooth track, so it cannot continue pure rolling here. Okay, so again the answer is mistake here. I'll go for 1.8 meters. So that was today's paper. Thanks for watching. Keep sharing the